So a few weeks ago, into this month of April, the FCT Minister introduced some new land reforms regarding the operation of real estate investing in the Federal Capital Territory. And I'm sure most of us have come across this news headline and they've been wondering how this will impact investing in a positive and in a negative way, and the ways one can navigate, be able to navigate and invest safely using this new land reforms. And then one thing I want to say is that these new land reforms, they're not really new per se. They've been in existence, just that they haven't really looked deep into enforcing them, and now the FCT Minister wants to start enforcing them so that we could see some maximum development and more impact in the real estate industry in the FCT. And the whole overview of all this land reform is to bring development to the FCT. I do tell my investors, and I do say it, that the FCT, that Abuja, has not really been optimized in terms of development. There are still lots of landmarks, there are still lots of opportunities in terms of real estate investing in Abuja. Abuja still has a long way to go in real estate, and this is part of what the FCT Minister is trying to do to bring development into the Federal Capital Territory. So if you haven't started investing in Abuja, this is another strategic and curious moment for you to start investing. Like I did in one of my videos, that we are currently making the next decade of billionaires in Abuja real estate. This is their planting season, and if you are someone who has plans of investing in Abuja real estate and you haven't started, or you are still thinking of should I, this is your sign. And if you're watching this video, you should start investing now. Do not miss out on what is going to happen in the next 10 years in the Abuja city. Before I continue with this video, I am Goodnews Okpabi, real estate consultant in the city of Abuja, who is dedicated to guiding her investors into making the best of investment in Abuja, Nigeria, and as a whole. So I help my investors invest safely and profitably in Nigerian real estate industry. And you could reach out if you have any property demand, or you want to invest profitably in Abuja real estate. Welcome to this channel, and you are welcome to the right channel. Sit tight and enjoy all the educative content and the property videos I'm going to get to you across this channel, because you actually need them if you must invest safely in Abuja real estate. Okay, now let's go into what I want to say for the day, talking about the reform. Now, what are these land reform? They're actually up to I think 4 headlines when the FCT Minister released the memo about how the new land reform. And the first headline is development should happen in 2 years. If you have been allocated a property, you are meant to start developing within 2 years or face revocation. The second one is regarding regularization. Those who buy from area councils are meant to regularize within a particular period of time, as they're liable to face revocation. The third one is payments of all these ground rents and other statutory payments involved in land. It now has a window period which is given to investors to pay up, and other even developers to pay up as they face revocation. The fourth one is about mass housing development. You should know about mass housing, where few or more developers gather and meet the government and tell them they want to develop a particular area, and they're given a particular period of time to develop some particular percentage, and when they're done developing it, they go and meet them to perfect the title. So that means mass development most times doesn't come with the title at that moment, except when they've met the development agreement with the government. That's when the title to be perfect. I'm going to break down these 4 reforms. Now, the first one talked about when you have been allocated, you are meant to develop within the space of 2 years. Now, this thing has been in the FCT ministerial house, and it was actually based at within 2 to 3 years, or as you face revocation. But then people are not really enforcing it, and they overlooked it. But now the FCT Minister wants to enforce it, and this is to bring development to the Federal Capital Territory. I mean, they need funds. You all know what the FCT Minister is doing, how he has been working tirelessly, trying to make that the roads and other infrastructure will be in different locations, so that people can have access to development. I told you that there is a lot of land that is still untapped in Abuja, and for those parts to be developed, there is meant to be access road. And that's why you see some locations in Abuja now, there are still bushes, but the government have done road networks in those locations. So invariably, this will bring government to put up more infrastructure and make it easier for people to actually build. Because when you tell people to build within 2 years, you have to make sure you can't tell someone to go and build in a place that doesn't have a good road network, doesn't have lights or whatever, and you expect the person to build within 2 years. How will the person access that location? So this is actually going to make the government to sit up with the work they're already doing as regards to infrastructure and road connection in Abuja, and to help them to do more and also generate funds for them. So that is what this 2 years deadline is. Now, what is it for you as an investor? How will you play safely with this 2 years deadline? Now, as an investor, you have the leverage of investing in some if you want to do long-term land banking, let's say 5 years, 8 years or more, then you need to invest in locations that are not under the administration of FCT. Places like Arshi, Asokoro, so those places that share a boundary with Abuja but are not really Abuja, but they are known as Abuja, but map-wise they are not located within Abuja. I'm going to do a video on location that one can invest for long-term land banking in Abuja with this new land reform. Now, for short-term land banking, let's say 2 to 3 years or even 4 years, you can do that investing in an estate. Especially when you don't have the plan of developing your own, you want to resell in 2 or 3 or 4 years, an estate is your next best option. Or you also invest in off-plan projects. Now, I'm talking about an estate. Some developers, not just all estates, but developers. It depends on the people that are developing. Some developers do off-plan project, and when they do off-plan project, they are the ones building, and as they are building, they are actually developing the location. So the government cannot come and revoke that place because the investors are not building, because already the developers have already developed like up to 50% of the estate. So the remaining 50% that people left that they want to resell or build later in the future, next 3 or 4 years, will not face revocation, because 50% of that place has been developed by the developer on account of off-plan projects. So this is how you can play safe as an investor in this period of time with this new land reform, pending on let's see how far to see how they will enforce it. But for this period of time, this is how you can thrive safely, whether you're investing for long-term land banking or short-term land banking. Now, I'm talking about the statutory fees. Some persons, now for people that want to, because in building in developing estate, there are different procedures. People can go meet the minister, get allocation for a particular location to sell as an estate, and they are expected to pay some fees before they are given the RFO and all that. Now, this most time they don't give them a particular deadline to do it, but now because that they need money for development and all that, they've given a particular deadline which they are meant to pay up for that particular estate or that particular location that they want to get. If they don't meet up, they may face the property being taken back from them. So that's what that particular reform means. Now, the third one about regularization. We all know about regularization. We all know that all the land in Abuja, whether they want in the bushes, in the local council, the power is vested upon the FCT minister to allocate. Prior to now, it was the area council that were allocating. But now the land use of art for the FCT says otherwise. The power is vested upon the FCT minister to allocate land, no longer the local council. Now, most people didn't know about this earlier, and they invested blindly with local council. Now, in a bid to balance the system, they have brought up this method that those who bought from the local council prior to now can utilize the window period and pay up the fees for regularization and apply for regularization, and it will be granted to them. And this reform started on the 21st of April. So those people are given like I think up to 60 days duration to finish up their regularization, else they may face revocation. Now, you have to know that this regularization is a bit somehow, not all locations are fit for regularization. There are some locations that are still not yet developed, like places like Zapetu, that's still a landmass of cashew tree. Nothing is going on there for now. Those locations, you can't just go down Kane and say you want to buy recertification, because they've not started development. Places like Lugbe that face development and you bought as from local council, you can actually recertify, because that place is already fully developed. You can't go in a place that they've not touched, they've not started developing, and you go and buy straightly from AMA. You are looking for trouble as an investor. So that's aside. So that is what the reform for regularization is all about. Now, let's talk about the mass housing development. Now, from the memo that they released, it said there were also 4,000 people that applied for mass housing, and only 2 have perfected their title. Now, in mass housing development, like I said, up to 6 or more developers or even less meet the government and tell them we want to develop this social area. give us this allocation, we will sell, and by the time our investors fully developing, they will perfect the title for them. Now, this was done a bid by the FCT in a bid for them to develop Abuja. That was why they brought up this mass housing development. So invariably, those people, they are selling with letter of intent, and by the time they'll give them a particular duration of time to occupy the estate, like up to 60% or 50%, can now go and perfect their title with the FCD, and they'll be giving a permanent title, either CFO or most times CFO for the estate. But that is what a government said. The memo that they released, they said out of 4,000 people that apply for mass housing and they are already developing, even some people have already fully developed and people are already living there, they have not come to perfect their titles. It's only 2 that have come to perfect their titles, and this is part of what made them to issue that reform, that they should pay up and perfect their title, else they can face revocation of that fully completed building and all that. So these are the new land reforms in Abuja, and this is how you could play safely using this reform. I just want you to know that these reforms are done just to bring development to the Federal Capital Territory. Like I said earlier, Abuja has plenty of undeveloped land. Abuja has a lot of land mass that has not yet been developed, and these things are being done to put infrastructure in some locations that are not yet developed, so that people can go there and start developing. This is because they don't want to be seeing bushes around. They don't want you come here, you see a very fine building, and the next place they're seeing is a cashew tree all full, and next there's another fine building. So they want to stop this so that this place can be really Federal Capital Territory. I hope you got insight from this video, and this will help you to invest safely now and wisely as an investor in the Abuja real estate industry. Remember to subscribe to this channel and turn your notification bell, because we have lots of videos coming up for you, properties opportunities that fit into this budget, this reform. And I said I'm going to give us a detailed video on locations that you can invest for long-term land banking, like 5 to 10 years. Last week, 3 days ago, I went to see one in Asokoro, and I'll be bringing it to your doorstep.